Nature, trees, quiet, the Pinery and the Timbers deliver on all of it. The real question is, are you drawn more to the luxury vibe or the eclectic feel? Hey everyone, it's Alyson Wall, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. Today we are talking about two of Parker's most well-known neighborhoods, the Pinery and the Timbers. They are really right next to each other. It feels like one big neighborhood, but they feel and live very differently. So we're going to talk about all those nuances. Let's dive right in. So first, where is the Pinery? The Pinery and the Timbers are over in the far corner of Parker. We're getting close to Franktown territory when we get there. That means you have a much longer commute to get out to work if you don't work remote. We're talking at least 30 minutes to the tech center in traffic, a minimum of 50 minutes to downtown in traffic, and you could easily add on more time than that. Now, if we don't have traffic, the commute's not so bad. I am 22 minutes to downtown from my house in Parker when I don't have to contend with traffic, and the Pinery area is about 12 minutes from me. So we're looking at a 35-minute commute into downtown for a date night or some event when you're off peak time. Not bad at all for all that it gives you in return for living in there. Because once you turn off the main road and you are in either neighborhood, you are on soft winding roads in deep banks of pine trees, surrounded by nature. You will always see deer. Some of you may not like it if you love to plant flowers, but for the most part, they're a lovely addition. And a lot of the homes have mountain views, either peekaboo mountain views from your house, definitely while you're out walking around, and certainly as you're driving and leaving the neighborhood and heading back west. So if the whole place is this great, why would we talk about two separate sides? What is the difference? Well, let's dive into the Timbers first. The Timbers' official name is the Timbers at the Pinery, so it really is one big happy family of a neighborhood. But the Timbers is one of the most recognizable luxury neighborhoods in South Denver, certainly in Parker. It has all of those perks we just talked about. The big tall trees, the access to nature, the winding soft roads, mountain views. It certainly has quite a few mountain views, particularly because the Timbers sits on the southern end of the neighborhood, and that means many of these homes on the south edge have access to views of Pikes Peak, which is south of town. As you can imagine, when you stack views on top of everything else that's wonderful about this area, it's going to draw high-end builders. Everything in here is semi-custom and custom, and we are talking larger homes as well. These are 5,000 to 9,000 square foot homes in here, and as you look at these exteriors, what you see on the outside is reflected on the inside. These are gorgeous high-end deluxe homes. We're talking solid core doors, high-end wood trim, real wood floors. Often we have that nice flat finish on the walls. Not everyone, but it's pretty traditional. If you've never been out here, this is often a comment I get from folks who are coming from the East Coast. Why do you all have that nubby texture on your walls? We have what's called a knockdown texture or orange peel texture. That's very common in production homes. You're more likely to see what's called a level 5 finish or a fully smooth finish, much more common on the East Coast, in our higher level homes here in the Timbers and elsewhere, like Castle Pines Village, some of these other custom homes. The minimum lot size in the Pinery is a 1/4 acre. So everyone's gonna get a minimum of a 1/4 acre. The median lot size over here in the Timbers is a 1/2 acre. An acre is not uncommon. With this large footprint, when you're talking a 5,000 square foot house or bigger, we need more space. We need a bigger building envelope. Every home has a 3-car garage on this side, so you've already stacked out a wider house because most of them are not a 3rd bay tandem, it's 3 across. We've got to have the driveway. We need a certain amount of space in the backyard. We're gonna stack in some trees. So the yards are generally pushing toward the 1 acre size. There are lots that are a little over an acre, but as you can tell with a median a 1/2 acre, we're generally falling a little under that. But there is a lot of good, beautiful space back here. Nice backyards with fire pits, nice privacy from the neighbor with the tall trees, good landscaping, and the pine forest in which all of these homes stand. The bones of these 90s homes are so good. There are tall ceilings. We have beautiful wood floors. All the stuff I was talking about with the high-end finishes, the wood trim, the solid core doors, it is there. There are definitely still some quirks. I mean, we have really changed how we build homes and that modern aesthetic since the 90s. So often these need a little love, and usually it's reflected in the price. So unless they've been updated or unless they have that mountain view, which is nearly priceless, not quite, but pretty close for someone who wants a home of that size and among the trees with a wide open shot to a view. Premiums, who knows, all bets are off in terms of what someone's going to pay for that. Then when we get over into this section where they're doing all the new builds, I find the lots are a little tighter. The privacy is not as rich. You're gonna have to come in and do the landscaping. And even then with the smaller lots and the interesting configurations, it doesn't feel the same as it does in this more original, somewhat more mature area. But the homes are stunning, really. These newer homes, it's very rare for them to have a mountain view, particularly the ones that are being built today. There are a few homes in the 5 to 7 year window that do have views. It's these ones that are current right now that are a little tucked in down low, where you're probably not going to find anything with a mountain view. So all of those really amazing mountain views belong in the homes that are already established. Now, something might surprise me. I might get into a house and go, where did that come from? But everything that I've toured, everything I've walked, everything I've driven, I just don't capture any mountain views currently. Now, what about the Pinery? Are there mountain views in the Pinery? What is different about the Pinery? So the Pinery is the more eclectic side. It sits to the north. Homes in here started to be built in the 70s. These are somewhat semi-custom homes. We did not have a block of 2 builders come in and just mass produce everything. So in a sense, this community still feels semi-custom, but the quality of production is not the same. So you do not have a cookie cutter feel all throughout. You are going to have mid-mods, you are going to have split levels, you're going to have 2 stories, you're going to have 1 story. You're going to have homes that feel like they got plucked out of a very suburban, normal, if you will, neighborhood 3 miles away and dropped in here. You're going to have homes that feel like they're a mountain cabin. There is everything and things you haven't really thought of yet, all in the Pinery. The homes are smaller. We're talking 2,000 to 5,000 square feet is the range, and they're generally on about a 1/3 acre or less. Again, the 1/4 acre is the minimum. Even with the age spread, with homes starting in the 70s and 80s, these are typically good homes, well built. With the inspections that I've been through, I don't see a repetitive pattern of a certain problem. You're typically going to find a good home. So if you like the lot, you like the house, you're up for the updates it needs. If you don't find one that's already been updated, it's generally a good buy, particularly because of all the land you get and all the trees. So just make sure you like the lot that it's on, because there are plenty of options. There are more than 1,900 homes over in this area. So you've got plenty of choice if you're willing to wait it out and give yourself time. Before we talk more about what it's like to live in here, HOAs, perks, amenities, home value growth over time, there's one more neighborhood I want to talk about that's really quite small in here. It's called High Prairie Farms. So if you love a lot of land, or you own a horse and you'd like to keep it near you, this one may be the neighborhood for you. So High Prairie Farms was designed with the equestrian lover in mind. It has lots that push from about 2.5 toward the 3 acre mark, up closer to the main road, toward Parker Road. So they are not designed for quiet outdoor living, right? If you open your windows, your doors, go to sit out on your acreage, you are gonna hear the traffic on that main road. And Parker Road has many names. It takes you all the way into Denver, and it can take you all the way into Colorado Springs. So it is a heavily trafficked road. But all of that acreage, you definitely have privacy. And again, it was designed for the equestrian lover. There's a horse park not too far away, and Parker's so horse friendly in our history. There are horse training facilities, boarding facilities. It's just part of who we are. Now, behind these larger 2.5 acre lots are some smaller lots that are part of this area. They go down into the acre-ish size as well. The homes are fairly large, 4,000 to 7,000 square feet. And because of all the land, home prices range from about $1 million to $3 million. All right, now that we've touched on all the different pockets of the Pinery, the Timbers, High Prairie Farms, let's talk numbers and growth over time. For the Timbers, as a recap, these are generally 5,000 to 9,000 square foot homes with a median half-acre lot size. Most have 3-car garages. It's common you might even see larger than that. You're not going to find a 2-car garage over here. In 2024, the average price was over $1.4 million for the Timbers. The median price also came in at $1.4 million, and this was up 37% from 5 years ago in 2019. The Pinery is our large established side of the neighborhood, more than 1,900 homes, started in the 70s, very eclectic style to select from. We have homes on land that is a minimum of a 1/4 acre. We're running about a 1/3 acre on the median. The home size runs around 2,000 to 5,000 square feet. And generally you're gonna get a 2-car garage, occasionally a 3rd, but typically 2-car garages over here. In 2024, the average price was $850,000 and the median came in at $760,000. Compared to 2019, we saw a 44% increase in average home price. High Prairie Farms is that large acreage neighborhood. Homes kind of sit in the middle and they're 4,000 to 7,000 square foot size, where we're running an acre to almost 3 acres in land. And the interesting thing is here, home prices have nearly doubled since 2019. I checked myself a couple different times in a few different ways. They're up 90% since 2019 for this little enclave of the neighborhood. HOA dues for Timbers, Pinery, High Prairie Farms range just between about $300 and $500 a year right now. So you are not paying out the nose for all of the land, all of that space, the trees, all that. But quite frankly, you don't have a lot in terms of HOA specific benefits in here. So let's talk about what life is like inside these neighborhoods. There are a handful of trails dotted throughout the community, but for the most part, you are walking along your own streets, in the trees. There is a lake. That lake is host to an annual kids fishing derby. This is one of the big events that brings people out with kids, gets them all connected, introduces you to new neighbors. It is a family favorite every year. One of the perks to being in this area is there are 2 elementary schools in the neighborhood. They actually divide them up, so it's not a K through 5. They divide them into smaller segmented grades. These are just tiny, sweet little schools. So for those who live in here, you do have an opportunity to connect, if you are a family with younger kids, to connect to your friends and neighbors that way. But ultimately, this is a golf course and golf club community. We haven't talked about that at all because it's completely optional. And anyone from outside the Pinery can join the Pinery Country Club as well. It is an open membership club. So I could live in Lone Tree and join it. I could live in Castle Rock and join it. I could live across the street at Prairie and join it. And in fact, they often do because there's a Prairie Pinery kind of partnership in terms of club access. So for folks who live in the Pinery Timbers, High Prairie Farms, if you want access to pools, you're going to pay to join the Pinery Country Club. If you want access to tennis, if you want any of kind of the things you might get in an HOA elsewhere, you're going to join the country club. Then you have access to the restaurant. You can pop in and meet people, meet your neighbors, connect with other folks that way. There are levels to the membership, just like you find in other country clubs. You can join at the top level and have access to Prairie's golf course that is about 5 minutes away. A lot of people at Prairie join at the top level to get access to the Pinery's pools because you don't have pools as part of the club membership at Prairie. They do have an HOA pool, but if you're just a club member at Prairie only and you don't live there, you don't have a pool at all. So they join at the top level to get access to the pools in the Pinery. I have never heard anyone say this is a turnoff for them. I haven't had families say they don't want to live in the Pinery because of this. Ultimately, the decision between choosing to live in this area, in this quiet, acreage, nature-oriented community, often, particularly for my families, has more to do with how connected they think they can be with other kids for their kids, right? Because people who come out to acreage lots generally are trying to get away. Doesn't mean they aren't nice, doesn't mean they don't like other people. It just means that for the most part, unless I've chosen to talk to you, want to have you over, I don't really want to talk most of the time. Don't comment on my garden. Don't notice that I actually have chickens. The HOA does not allow chickens, but I promise you, I have seen them with my own eyes. They are here, but they don't want anybody to know it. So they have a lot that's private and big, and those 3 chickens are tucked away privately, quietly making eggs. They might bribe you to also be quiet by giving you some, but for the most part, people who have come out to the Pinery want privacy. So that really has more to do with the lifestyle choice. Do you also want that level of privacy and quiet and a little bit more removed from neighbors and people in general? Or are you going to join the club to get that level of friendship? And if you have kids, would you rather be in a community like Stonegate and Parker, like the Canyons and Castle Pines, where you feel like you're going to encounter 5 kids on your street or within a block or two, that you can just toss your kids outside on a bike and say, go have fun, I'll see you in 3 hours at dinner time? So we do tend to see that the Timbers, the luxury side, is a bigger draw for folks who have either older kids, say high school, about to be empty nest, or are in their retiring phase. It's just something I tend to see. And then the Pinery, I do see families and kids. They are just folks who are more content to, maybe they have a bunch of kids, the kids play together, they might homeschool, they might have an RV and travel. So it's whatever works for you. I tend to get a lot of feedback from people moving into the area with kids that they're most concerned about the kids' transition, and then often go to a more traditional neighborhood where they feel like their kids have a super easy time connecting because they're worried about that opportunity here in this area. Oh gosh, one of the things I did not mention that I think is a fantastic perk about the HOA is they offer RV storage. So they have these very affordable pay to store lots that are just for Pinery residents, because the HOA doesn't allow you to just park your RV out front or on the side where it can be seen, and there are not a lot of RV sized garages. So this is fantastic because a lot of people are wanting to get into a place in Parker, Castle Rock, where they can store their RV close to home, at home, not pay a lot, because it can start to be in the $100 a month range, right, to keep your RV. But this way you are really close. They even have some power hookups. They've got other options for you, and it is just for this enclave of residents. So I thought that was a really fantastic perk just for Pinery folks. And then on the downside, the HOA is pretty strict with its architectural committee and review. So if you have been thinking, oh my gosh, I want to live in the woods, I want to have a farmhouse feel, I want to paint it white, I just know exactly what I want. I want this look of a modern white home in the woods. Not in the Pinery. They are not doing white. You can do a soft off-white, heavy cream tones, natural undertones. They love brick reds. They love earthy greens, but they're going to make you go way off white. So if you're thinking white, they are not going to say yes. So know that ahead of time, because it has certainly changed people's decisions when they got the HOA docs. And here they are, almost 2 weeks into buying a home. They think they love it. The seller thinks everything is going well. And then they read that they can't paint the house and they want to get out. We talked about the chickens. You cannot have chickens. People think you can because of the acreage, but it is an HOA rule, not a Douglas County rule. HOA says no chickens. And then sidewalks. As you've looked at the video and seen the footage of each different side of the neighborhood, you may have noticed that the Pinery has fewer sidewalks tucked in among the side streets versus what you might find on the Timbers side. I think part of that is age, right? The development of each of the different sides. So if you really want sidewalks, which has been another conversation I've had with folks, it may not be that the Pinery is a right fit for you. If you like this area, still want to see what new construction is coming, there is a proposal for a handful of new homes over close to the Horse Park. Nothing has been fully approved on that yet, but the way we are handling growth around here and need more homes, I expect this is going to go through. So we may still see something coming in, and I would love to see something that's not quite at that custom price point, that $3 million price point. We will see. So stay tuned for that. If you have questions about luxury, quiet acreage neighborhoods, not just even the Pinery or the Timbers, please reach out. I would love to show you around, let you get a feel for which one might be a good fit. And it's always a thrill to connect. So I will see y'all next week.